If you or a loved one...
I went record shopping in Norway with Michael, Frederick and Joachim from Opeth. We spoke music and records with Frederick, getting to know him as a collector, got swore at by Michael, and even found some rare Norwegian prog rock. What did we find? Keep watching to find out. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm joined by Frederick Akesson from Opeth, and today we're going to go record shopping. We're here in Bergen, they're here at Beyond the Gates Festival, and last time I met you was in Frankfurt, and I was speaking to Michael about records, and I remember we spoke very briefly. Yeah. I said, do you collect records as well? And you said yes, but not as much as Michael. But I still hear you're a massive collector, so still wanted to go hunting with you.
Maybe I have a couple of thousands, but
that's a lot of records.
I mean, Mike probably has 20,000, so there you have your comparison.
And not only did we talk about records while digging, but Michael and Joachim turned up midway through to gate crash the shoot, and honestly it was just a barrel of laughs. If you watch my last video where I went solo hunting in this shop, you might recognise this record. It's a rare Norwegian prog band called Juniper Green, and it's their second album, Communication. I'd left it behind and thought, if I see Michael, I'm going to ask his opinion, should I buy it? And in this video, not only do I show him this record, but he gives me his opinion. Should I buy it or should I not buy it? If you're a fan of Opeth, prog rock, or just music or collecting in general, you're really going to like this video. So from the start, over to me and Frederick standing outside Rock-A Music in Bergen. Well, should we get your 2001 record?
Let's do it.
Let's go. After you.
So we're on the vintage?
So we've got second-hand stuff, it seems, over here.
Yeah, that's what we like.
Yeah, we do. There's some other stuff over here. It looks like they've got a really interesting Norwegian section. That's where I was telling you about that record I found in the previous video, and I'm going to show you again, see if you know it. But you can't buy it from out under me. That's the condition. This one here.
Oh yeah.
But it's a lot. Look at this.
It's very nice condition. It looks like a new pressing.
That's what I thought, and then I saw 3,500, and I thought, what?
Oh, so you planning on getting it?
Maybe. Anyway, do you remember how you first got into records?
Well, I bought my first vinyl when I was about 8 years old. That was for those about to rock with AC/DC. So that's when it started. Yeah.
Classic
then
album.
you had like in the 90s, everybody switched to CDs.
Yes.
So I had a bunch of my vinyl collection in the basement, and it was a water leak. So a lot of them got destroyed. I had like the first Yngwie Malmsteen signed by Yngwie. Just got to meet him, that got destroyed. And I had a Kiss album signed by everybody, including Eric Carr, who passed away. That got destroyed. And then I kind of was into CDs.
Yeah.
But later on, actually when I started playing with Opeth, a little bit with Mike Amott when I was in Arch Enemy, we went to some vinyl record stores. But especially thanks to Mike, I gotta say. I got into collecting vinyl again, and it's something we do when we're on the road as well. It's perfect. You take a walk, go get some vinyl.
Yeah, that's pretty. I wouldn't say it's the best. You know, do you know?
I don't have that one, but I have a few of them.
I think there's better English folk bands, in my opinion. But that's one that people always say is, you know, I like Steel Ice Band. You know, I think they're good, even though they're really cheap.
Is that a UK band?
Yes, quite traditional, but it's like UK folk rock. It's not super traditional where you'd imagine people dancing around a maypole or something like that. You know.
But I was wondering here, which one are the second hands here?
So
this is
there's some second-hand stuff here. There's some second-hand. It looks like there is a combination. There's a bunch here.
This one I actually recently got.
Sanctuary.
I like it. It's good metal.
Let's have a look. I don't know it.
Well, it's World Dane from who later was in the band with Jeff Loomis, Nevermore.
It looks like the cover was designed by the guy who does the death stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a good metal album.
It looks like produced by Dave Mustaine.
It also has Jim Shepard, who was in Nevermore as well. So them two were in Nevermore. I will look through the metal stuff first, and then I'll look through the prog stuff.
Only makes sense.
But these ones, are they? These are new presses, right?
I think so. Which, I'm like you, I prefer older stuff.
Actually, Triumph is a band that I really kind of ignored when I was younger. Then I saw the Ozfest Have you seen the Ozfest with Judas Priest, them, and Ozzy Osbourne?
I haven't seen that particular one.
Amazing.
Like
I'm
a
probably gonna get this
classic
one.
hard band, right?
This is not.
179 is cheap, right?
Yeah. That's if you have any good prog recommendations, please.
Well, here's the problem, right? And it's not a problem. I mainly know about UK stuff. So when we look at things like
I like
this,
the UK stuff.
yes, but this stuff I don't know much about. So I often, even UK stuff, I buy things that I've never listened to just to see what they're like.
I'm gonna run through the Norwegian stuff. I know a little bit about it.
That's a good album, but in London you could get it for a couple of quid, and it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I would recommend that. So we were speaking sort of on the way here that Michael is a great person to speak to about vinyl recommendations like progressive rock.
Yeah.
So when you first joined the band,
You got this.
I haven't actually. Sorry.
Oh, it's only
I like to-
499.
I like to try and find the the oldest copies I can. So it would be an 01 repress.
Yeah.
You know.
I got you.
As I was saying, when you first joined the band, or even when you were just first starting to jam with Michael, did he give you any albums to be like, get yourself into that, to sort of almost shape you in a weird sort of way for the sound?
Yeah, definitely. One of them was Camel. Because and Latimer, one of his biggest guitar influences, and also one was Robin Trower, Bridge of Sighs, which I actually heard before. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Those are the ones that stick out for you, in particular.
Yeah, also one Aphrodite's Child, 666.
That's a
Which
must.
I have a.
Do you want to go over to these ones?
Soon
Are you
I
done
have,
with
to, I have to
these?
check the Saxon album.
Well, I'm going to go over here.
I actually don't have the Rock the Nations album with Saxon. And this must be original, right?
It looks second-hand to me.
You know, Elton John is playing on this album.
Is he really?
Yep, he's playing piano on the
It
track.
has been themed Cornucopia.
Great hairstyle there.
That is
You know, I played an album with Biff, his soul album.
I didn't know that. I can't.
School of Hard Knocks. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go through this then.
And I'm looking through these as well, and I'm trying to bear in mind any prog recommendations. I mean, I'm sure Michael's probably introduced you to Gong, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Of course, you've been with Opeth now for over, quite a long time.
Well, it's beginning of next year. Well,
It's over 15 years, right?
2027. Beginning of that's gonna be 20 years. So
Congratulations, first
it's
of all.
more than 18 years. Next year's 19, apparently. I'm a math genius, as you can tell.
I was going to ask you a bit of a, not a weird question, but have you kept any sort of oddities or test presses in your time with Opeth?
Yeah, I do try to get it. I have a few copies. I don't have anyone from the first album I played on Watershed, which I would love to have, but I have a few. Also, when I played on 2 Ghost albums now and 1
Yes.
EP, and Tobias has given me test press before the release on those 2 albums.
That's awesome.
And like a little dedication he wrote, that was very nice of him. Appreciate that.
The way those guys blew up, in the short space of time, but the songs are so catchy and the riffs and everything,
Yeah, he's been working hard. That album I have, it's a killer album.
I have never listened to it, but I know it's one of the sort of
I totally
well-known
recommend
Italian
it.
ones.
PFM.
PFM, yeah. Photos of Ghosts.
And that seems, if that's an original, it seems like a good price.
It looks like a Canadian one. I have seen English ones for around about 10 or 15 pounds over the last
Well,
year
it
or
is
so.
an Italian band, so it should.
Yes.
I guess you should have the Italian pressing to be
I don't
super
get out
nerdy.
to Italy as much as you do, but,
Well,
but maybe one day.
I bought that one in a store in London, actually.
An Italian copy.
Not sure,
It's not a rare record, so I suppose it doesn't matter too much,
but it's really good.
It sounds like you still get a big buzz out of digging through the crates. Do you buy
yeah.
anything online, or is it just you come to a
Never.
record shop?
I never done that actually. I'm not that nerdy, and also the fact that if I receive it, it's going to be
You can
broken or
find all
something.
those on my YouTube.
That's always-
It's always the risk you
Yeah.
gotta take, I guess. But other friends, especially Michael, I mean, he's selling and buying. And, but I guess you get good at how to pack the vinyls and all that good logistics behind it,
I'm sure when you've been also buying from people a while, you know who you can trust, and they sort of, oh, I've got this, I know you want one, and they'll do you a good deal for it.
Yeah, I mean, Stockholm, where we live, we're kind of lucky because there's a lot of good second-hand stores.
Oh, really?
Plenty of them. You should
Any
go
you'd
there, really.
recommend?
Yeah,
And
you have
also
Micke's
not
Musik,
very
you have Trash Palace or Nostalgie Palatset.
Okay.
There's a couple of really good ones on the south side.
I've never been to Sweden.
Well, if you come, we'll take you out.
Okay, I'd love that.
Promise.
Show me the best 2 or 3 record shops. I'd love it.
Yeah, I think you could probably go to at least 5, 6 of them. That will be worth going to.
That's a good album, and that's really cheap. Do you know Man from Man's Earth?
Yeah, of course.
That's probably... Hi. Yeah, that,
I'll get that one.
out of his sort of mid-70s albums, I'd say that's my favourite.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. And that guy over there.
What's Hunter's hanging around?
I have to censor that now, come on.
I can always ask now. Or we can ask that guy over there.
We need
stuff.
some music recommendations, apparently. No, this is the mainly second-hand stuff over here.
Next month.
Vi håller på nu.
Is there an album that you have in your collection that's been like your holy grail and you finally managed to find it? Or something you're always looking for and you're like, oh, finally, that's the one I was looking for.
One was Judas Priest live, Priest in the East.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
because
quite an
they
easy
want
one
a
to find.
Japanese version with the extra single, which has a different bonus track.
That makes a lot of sense.
That one I found quite recently. And I was in Bristol for a while, and I managed to go to a really good store, which I know is closed down now. And I found Volume 4 with Black Sabbath.
Yeah, great album.
Mint condition with all the booklets and everything, and
Yeah.
also great copy of Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, mint. So my Sabbath collection is probably my holy grails. Also King Crimson, I have a bunch of their early stuff, original. One album that I listened to a lot was more of a proggy album, a band called Tempest with Alan Holdsworth.
Yeah,
The very first Tempest.
Did they have... Was that the band with Glenn Hughes at one point was in Tempest?
I don't think so.
Or I'm thinking of Medusa, Trapeze, that's what I'm thinking.
Trapeze, yeah.
Yeah.
So Tempest had Alan Holdsworth only on the first album.
Okay.
It's a great prog album. It's kind of heavy rock prog.
Do you know this one?
Yes.
I prefer the first album, but this is the one that always people always say.
I don't have it. Are you going to get it?
No, I've got one. Not the very first one. With these ones, the English copies, you got a red label on Duran, and you got like a brown one. The brown one's the really early one. Mm-hmm. Can you tell I really like records?
Yeah, I can.
I'm going to let you go in those. There's one I'm eyeing up, and I've got to figure it out by tomorrow. I think I might have already made my mind up.
I do have this one, but
We were speaking on the way here. There was one thing in particular that you've always wanted to find, and that's the Black Sabbath Master Reality poster.
yeah,
Is that the top thing on your wants list of vinyl?
right now I think so.
Yeah.
But it's been for a long time, and it seems to be impossible. I do have the original without the poster, UK. But I'm looking for the Norwegian press, because there is a Norwegian press with a different size of the poster. I've seen it in Stockholm,
Okay.
which I think is quite pricey, probably, most likely.
Are you going to try and find it while you're here?
Yeah, I mean, we could also ask, but... Hallå? Det har inte norska Masters of Reality med Sabbath. Den, alltså originalet. Okay.
You never know, you always got to ask, right?
Förlåt, Masters of Reality.
I mean, I can't keep
Reality.
all the stuff that I'm trying to do on
Det ska vara en första press.
There's a bunch of stuff
First
that I
press.
want to do on the show.
Sorry, I had to translate.
There's a bunch of
Yeah, it's going to cost me a lot of money to get someone to do that now.
Oh, sorry. No, so I was asking for the Norwegian pressing of Black Sabbath's Masters of Reality,
Thanks
which
for
has a
saving
poster, which is tinier than the original one, but it could be fun to have. Micke?
on a couple concepts that I want to go over, like
No?
So there you go.
multitasking.
He said now.
Have you got
He
one?
said nine.
Now, in a sense,
I think the last question I'll ask you before we just continue on digging and
Yeah.
having a good time is
doing
Joe
some
Walsh.
recording,
That's cheap.
doing some more
Is it?
work,
I don't know. For Norway, it seems
There
cheap.
goes the neighbors. I like the cover.
something really small, like a little
Blowing up the neighbors.
It sort of reminds me of.
It's not really a good thing to do, but yeah.
It reminds me of those early prog albums that were photographed by Marcus Keith.
Okay.
You know you got the Black Sabbath one, and I know Michael would know that what I was referencing. But he was a photographer that did a lot of the Vertigo stuff and similar labels, and it was always just a photograph, and sometimes there was weird stuff going on it. Some examples. Do you know the band Cressida?
Yep.
Second album, Asylum, was one of his Affinity.
not much.
Was one of his photos. You got, of course, the first Black Sabbath album was his photo. So it's they're all just sort of on Warhorse. The first one. Do you know Warhorse?
No.
Michael, he doesn't know Warhorse.
Warhorse. So, I thought you said Warhols. I do know about Warhorse. I don't have the album.
I was worried for a second.
Warhol.
No. But anyway, yeah.
Whatever that is.
My last question to you would be, what one album would you recommend to Opeth fans, whether it be an album that influenced you or Opeth, an album that was influenced by Opeth, or just a great album that you think Opeth fans love to hear?
On top of my head, I'd probably say that one I mentioned earlier. The first Tempest album with Alan Holdsworth.
Okay, that sounds like a good recommendation.
Which actually was the album I listened to when I was 15 already. Then I was mainly into metal and hard rock. But this older bloke I jams on guitar with, he recommended that. He gave me a tape of that. I always liked that album. And Alan Holdsworth is more of a fusion legato player, or was, rest in peace. Yeah. He's playing more rocky here, like more rock tones. And you can definitely tell like Ed Van Halen was very inspired by him. So I totally recommend that. Has some amazing playing.
Well, thank you for the recommendation.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure a lot of people are going to check it out now.
It should be a gatefolded vinyl. It's a beautiful cover.
So, well, I've got to get a copy now.
You should. It shouldn't be crazy expensive either.
Okay. I think I might have seen it here or there, but it's never been near the top of what I've wanted.
So 3,500 Norwegian. That's like.
Look at the cover.
It almost looks like a.
Apart from this here,
like a counterfeit reissue. But it's nice.
Do you think it would
better than my?
Looked like a new pressing.
That's what I thought when I picked it up, and I thought there was a typo because I don't know the band.
Yeah, I mean that it's if you got the one, you need the other. So you're starting another.
I asked people, should I get this? And they said the first one you should get, but I haven't got the first one in front of me. You see,
look at that.
It's a good label. I love labels like that. On Records.
The same records company as Test.
I've had a bunch of videos on my YouTube
One
channel
of the best from Norway. Really good band.
Is there an off records as well?
The episode number.
No, I don't think so. Good question.
Condition is.
Yeah, it might need a bit of a clean, but it looks okay.
You getting it?
I think I'm gonna get it.
Well, it's probably. Is it a good price, Mike?
I think everything's expensive these days. But,
Yeah.
Shitty audio that I
for that condition, it's not horrible.
Not horrible.
If I really
it's good enough.
If I really don't like it, I'm sure someone will give me what I paid for it back home. I'm gonna put that there. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me on the hunt.
And thank you.
It was really nice to meet you and speak to you properly.
My pleasure.
So, did I buy Juniper Green Communication? Drum roll, please. Of course I did. There is no way that Michael was going to tell me to buy this and I wasn't going to listen, because he knows his stuff about prog rock. Now, I've since listened once to the album, and from what I can remember, it was decent. I think side A might have been better, but when you've only listened to something once, it's hard to remember truly what it was like. But I do remember it was not bad whatsoever, and I'm really intrigued to get their first album. Will you be visiting this shop next time you're in Bergen? Let us know down in the comments. Now, if you enjoyed this one, check out the interview I did with Michael last year, where he talks about some of the rarest records in his collection, including Leaf Hound Growers and Mushroom, and ones that he's really after, like Billy Nichols, Would You Believe, and Nicholas Green with Colca. If you like this one, you're going to love it. See you there. Bye-bye.
Exactly, or 2 weeks and some change, without adding the tags. And those tags being where I'm editing the video and then adding the tag in, where it's this metal music, metal podcast, podcaster, all the different ways that people could type in something that they're interested in, that they would have, that would lead them to me and help them find me. And that's a long time to go without adding the tags, considering the time and effort that I'm putting into adding that in is not nearly as much, or at least doesn't feel like as much, if I were to just add money to this gigantic corporation of whatever social media platform I'm using that'll help them promote my videos and send those to promotional advertisement style spots on your feed where you're scrolling down and you see this and you find something you're interested in. It's not always that you do, and it's not always that you get the chance to hear somebody very real like me sitting down and talking about this But I have actually stumbled across some pretty good artists that I was interested in hearing their music. Of course, until something happened and they bitched out on me on the show or something like that multiple times. And that's definitely going to happen. That's going to happen a lot. So, note to self here, I'm going to try to be a little bit better with adding tags quicker so I don't have to waste that much time. Not that it is wasting time or anything, but that time could definitely be used a lot more wisely in future reference. So adding the video links to the show notes as to some of the stuff that I was talking about earlier, like guitar hacks, that's where I'm going to be giving you a preview of it on this show, as we still are in the first dozen of the show. It's kind of a baby show. And although this is belonging to a parent production company that I also run, even the parent production company still needs some work and is not quite complete yet. And other than that, we can get straight on down to stuff here, as the previous problems that I have had with my other previous accounts are over with. Like, I don't have any more problems with that stuff anymore. So it feels pretty good. I'm glad to be done with a lot of the stress that came with those previous accounts. Not looking forward to any of the future ways that it might or possibly reappear, but I'm barreling on forward through it like a warrior, so to speak. So let's get on straight to the miscellaneous subject matter, like reminding you to go follow Satanic Bay Area, Pan the God on Twitter at Pan_AZGINTEKE. He's Pan the God. You could probably find him in the search bar on there. And also find his girlfriend. He's probably got some links to her on his description. Now moving on to some news about the music world. We're going to start off with Slipknot, and we're going to end off with all of these bands that I was talking about, like Cernunos, Bilwis, and then the other ones that I haven't mentioned yet. Slipknot is retiring their masks, according to, I can't tell if it's Loudwire, Metal Injection, or one of those other mainstream news sources, but for them to be retiring their masks, it's so apropos, if I don't say so myself. I mean, they just did The End So Far. The End So Far? I don't even know, but that album was badass, and I listened to it religiously. Where it had the follow-up. It was either the follow-up of the singles Narrow Forte and the other ones off the same album, or it was definitely the follow-up of whatever album had Narrow Forte. So it had to be. It just had to be the freaking follow-up of the album that contained singles, Narrow Forte, and then the other ones off that same album. That was a badass album. Like, they just stay hard. They just stay going strong as new metal juggernauts. I mean, if you've listened to Slipknot since back in the day, then you know that they added in like DJ mixing and a little bit of like hip hop styles, but it angers me a little bit when I see that word hip hop added into this stuff. It's like, no, you're not true hip hop. And then, you know, in terms of like speaking on actual genres, with a knowledge and like with an experience. Like Mickey Gemini, here on the Vault of Doom, can actually speak on those things. So having these guys retiring the mask is so appropriate. It's like, what would your reaction to that be? You know, and send your comments and drop them below. And furthermore, if you're watching this show late, you can catch this on Twitch as I do my restreams live on Twitch. And I will most likely respond. Like if I'm doing a restream on Twitch and you chat, you're in the chat, and then I'll respond to you. Like I'll comment back. I'll say something back to you. So that's where that goes down. And this far into the career of Slipknot, that's where that goes down. As for that goes, Slipknot's definitely not done yet. But they've had all this other news coming out, like they're, you know, ever since the drummer died of a terminal illness, and then Chad, or not Chad, I almost said Chad Gray, Paul Gray died, and then his birthday just came recently, and I'm looking at the threads of this happy birthday, because his birthday just came recently, and I'm looking at the threads here, and there's like some spam somehow or other. Nobody stopped the spam from coming through Slipknot's thread on Threads. It's weird. So, you know, I posted something about that, and then I posted, like, I drew a picture of it that I thought of, and then I thought of the concept and drew the picture, and it's like, and then I shared the picture, and then I just kind of have the freaking minimal amount of comments. I don't know if it has something to do with Threads being so new or what, but there's just wasn't that many comments. There was less than 30 comments or something like that. I mean, it's kind of nice, but at the same time, can you really even put that into words? I don't know if you can actually even put that into words right there on how the whole thing is going down with this new platform of social media. And then, you know, it's got spam that nobody takes out, and there's minimal comments. I don't know. It's crazy. It's weird. They also have an unreleased album coming out called Slipknot, Look Outside Your Window. That's going to be fun. That's going to be badass. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Super cool. Fuck yeah. Now the frontman of Slipknot, if you don't already know, for some really weird, crazy reason, his name is Corey Taylor, and he's going to be at Resurrection Fest. The best of all things about this festival is that there are going to be so many fucking people there. I would get into that Resurrection Fest rant, but we have a Hellfest rant that should end the episode. So moving on along here, find these artists, or this artist, as I've only been talking about Slipknot so far. Find this artist on Threads, X, and I didn't talk about Facebook, I don't know, but so moving on along here to the next topic of discussion, Cradle of Filth, according to a news source that I found on my Google feed. Cradle of Filth is in the studio recording a new album. Oh my god, what a fucking relief. What a fucking relief. Those 2 songs that they made for the last album super badass. Can't get them out of my head. Fucking love that shit. They never stop to fail. And then the guy that's running the fucking show even says himself, like, they haven't even busted their nut yet. So, voila, good job. The motherfucking new Cradle of Filth album coming out should be badass. Now, how are they gonna tour with everything? That's what I'm more interested in. How am I gonna cover all of that on the show? Definitely more interested in that. But the new fucking album being recorded in the studio right now by Cradle of Filth is big on my mind. Massive news. So let me just take a breather real quick here as we progress into a little bit of a longer episode than planned. And the levels in which I'm going to be delivering this to you is going to go a little bit right back to personal stuff. So I've got some artists that I've got on my radar and on my spotlight a little bit that I want to get on the show. Like, I want to interview them and see what their thoughts are and stuff, and just have them on the show and just have like a, have a good time with them on there. So, it's pretty cool how there's a lot of people from northern South America, like Argentina, that are just big into metal. I've noticed. Like, I met a guy recently, he was like so metal, but like he didn't even speak English. Like barely any English, so I don't even know what the fuck this guy was into. I just know.
Hey Michael, hello, pleasure to have you on Sunny Soil Music. How is Belgium so far?
Which is southern
It's
Florida.
good. As per usual.
Okay.
We flew into Brussels last night.
Okay.
We have a hotel right by the airport, which is a bit boring, but it's good. It'll be good tomorrow when we fly back home.
Okay.
Across the street and we're in.
Right.
But yeah, we haven't really done anything.
But you've played in Grass Pop a lot of times.
Yeah.
And what do you like about Grass Pop?
I don't particularly like anything about Grass Pop. It's good. It's a good festival. They're very much, many festivals are very much the same. You look out, the crowd kind of looks the same. I was thinking about that driving in. Anywhere we go in the world, it's like the metal crowd, they kind of look the same. The kind of hospitality, backstage, we're in a tent called Marquee Stage or whatever it's called. They also look the same everywhere. We don't leave feeling that was shit.
Okay.
It's a good festival.
Right.
But they're very similar.
Okay.
To be honest, it's very rarely that we play a festival where we feel, this is different.
Okay.
So in that respect, it's great. But I don't have any particular stories about Grass Pop.
Okay.
Saying like it's best in festival. It's a good, we're cool festival. Sorry.
So you've been a metal musician for a large part of your life. But what have you seen shift in the metal genre? I think the past few years there's been a lot of, blend in genres, hip hop, pop, blending in.
Yeah. Wow, good question. There's been so much since we started, which is now 35 years ago with this band.
Right.
And throughout the years, we've seen the rise and, so to speak, fall of classic grunge, new metal. I wouldn't say fall because they're still here.
Yeah.
Prog metal, which is the kind of subgenre I followed
So it's
Right.
like,
more closely, I guess, because we were
kind
part
of
of,
weird
you know,
and
in
crazy
the beginning of that thing.
maybe
I just met with Blood
surrogate
Incantation out here, and
collaborate
we
with
were
this
record shopping in the US with them, and they're also doing something different, I think. But at the end of the day, I think it's kind of,
And next
maybe
thing
it's
I
business
fucking
as
know,
usual,
I find
you know.
Cornucopia
On
this episode.
I'm a bit too old to, or, I'm so busy with other forms of music when it comes to my own enjoyment, like music that I listen to in the privacy of my own home. I don't necessarily seek out the newer metal bands. I sit with old LPs or
and for those only being
stuff like that. So I'm,
it's
in a
still
way, I'm
just like
probably the wrong guy
quality
to
of
ask.
music itself and the
But that's
connection
like
that
I've
you're
seen
feeling
many
with the
kind of
music that
trends,
certainly is the most
black
important.
metal in Scandinavia in the early
Moving on
90s.
to where I currently am,
Those kind of things,
found
trends
two
come and go, and you know,
bands
most
out
of them
here,
have
one
lingered.
death metal and one black
So if we're
metal.
talking, say, new metal, not my
That's
favorite
where I
genre,
fucking
but
go,
those
you know what?
bands that kind of spearheaded that genre are still huge. Slipknot headlining tonight. Are they new metal? I don't know, but Ish, Korn, Limp Bizkit, those bands are still huge. But I guess there's been many casualties that you don't even remember, if you know what I mean. But it's at least it's kind of thriving, and it's doing well, and these festivals, you know, are like a, you know, they new festivals popping up, and festivals like Graspop are still, you know, drawing a big crowd year after year.
Right. So I'm sure you're tired of everyone asking about the growling question.
No.
So,
So excited.
what we like to ask is, you have an amazing clean voice as well. And when did you start exploring that and, you know, putting that towards the clean voice? Yeah.
Early on, actually, but I was so shy, you know, this kind of, you know, there's not a lot of people I know that like the sound of their own voice, and I'm one of them. But we started early on. I mean, there's clean vocals on the very first Opeth records, and even before the first couple of songs. I like to think the first song that we wrote together when I wasn't a singer in the band was a guy called David singing in the beginning, and there was this part, and he was kind of singing with a clean voice. That was good, you know, like kind of tracking a melody line, singing it. So I figured, you know, like that's not a bad idea. So it's kind of been on the radar for our music since we started, I guess. As has acoustic guitars and that type of dynamics that would bring. So that was always the purpose, I guess, when we formed this band, that, you know, to not get shackled by rules per se. So we started early on incorporating other things than just the regular metal, metal guitars and fast drumming, you know, like just experimenting from the beginning, and the clean vocals was part of that.
So who would be your clean vocal idols of sorts?
Well, they're good. I mean, my favorite singers are people who sound like who were born to sing. Guys like Ronnie Dio and David Coverdale and Paul Rodgers. I like the kind of gritty rock voice. Peter Criss from Kiss, his voice. The Eagles. I mean, you know, like you hear Don Henley sing, you're like, that guy's a singer.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. And in my genre, most singers started doing the screaming or whatever, like myself. So I'm not really a singer in that sense. I just learned as I went along.
One of the best singers I know.
Yeah, but I like the sound of a voice that there's no question about the kind of vocal qualities. If you know what I mean. Yeah. So those types of people. And Joni Mitchell, it's big for me. You know, there's so many good singers out there.
You recently collaborated with Ian Anderson.
He's a great singer.
Yeah, and you always, I think, wanted to
collaborate with him, and you tried to reach out to him, but it was challenging. But I think you finally got to do so in the new album. How was
Okay, I've got to wrap the one up with something, a special note, a special ending note. Well, first off, I want to thank you guys for checking these out. As you must be a true fan to have stumbled across these. So I appreciate you listening to them, as they are certainly something basically like unearthed in some sort of archaeological find, it seems. Especially considering that I'm ending this one off as it was already a special episode. I'm mentioning the shout out. Somebody that was interacting with my my posts on X. Him and his girlfriend interacting with me was very special. So mentioning that, shouting out that, I mean, it just was a special episode. The episode art, the artwork for this episode was also special. I mean, I think I even literally was like saying some kind of prayer in there or something. I don't know, but here's what I would like to get at. My point that I'm getting at here is lately I've been thinking a lot about that ending note on which the episode ended on. I've been thinking a lot about it lately, considering that did something to me, and just giving a quick kind of detailed breakdown, a very brief detailed breakdown of it. That closing off of that episode freaked me out, okay? And the other thing that I have to add in on here, and I can't believe I'm doing this because I really don't want to, but I really feel like I have to, that this whole production, this whole entire fucking production is just point blank bottom line supremely is supranatural. This whole production is extremely supranatural. I mean, it just is supernatural. So whatever it is that it turns into, it becomes, hey, I'm all along for the ride. I'm up for enjoying the ride and along for the ride, but being this far into explicitly stating myself in the midst of producing a extremely supernatural, like a whole other level above supernatural, supranatural motherfucking production. Everything I'm making looks like it's made it's made in a haunted house. Everything I'm making just does look that way. That said, let me go through. I can go over 3 key points. Those 3 key points are as such. Key point number 1. I think my mind was under the impression that I was recording a song. While I was not recording a song, I was recording a podcast. So it came out sounding like that. If you notice what I'm talking about, it's just very easily found by just looking at the end of that segment. That'd be 38 or 36 minutes in. Okay, that's key point number 1. Key point number 2. Key point number 2 is going to have to be most likely one of these things that I'm still searching in my head for some reason. I don't know why, but I am. And it is that freaked me out. That was freaky because it just should, recording a podcast shouldn't sound like that. I mean, there's that. That's key point number 1, all wrapped up in a nice little pretty package for you. Here's key point number 2. That is the same location that the album art for the album Barbados EP was photographed. And that artwork for the EP of the album art for the EP Barbados that was photographed there is an actual depiction of an actual spirit of some kind. You can find this album in the show notes because I mentioned I put it in the show notes myself for more reasons than just being interested in the supernatural. For the reason that it's also the one mentioned that was submitted to Atmosphere Black Metal Albums YouTube channel. Yay! Alright. Also, and it is, if you're interested in this kind of music. Also, it is if you're going to answer my beckoning call, if you're going to answer my requests that I'm currently making right now for critique of the album, as I have it categorized right now as soundtrack, film score, film movies under that category. And I'm just gonna fucking flat out and say it. I'm not down to do what I think it is that I think I'm trying to get myself to do right now. It's so irrelevant and obsolete. It's literally not even worth mentioning. I'm that not down to do it, but I think I know what I'm trying to get myself to do here. However, in the meantime, if it's not too much to ask, and I know it isn't because it just simply isn't, and never is, and never will be, critique the album Barbados and let me know what you think of it, because that fucking picture on the photograph of the album art is a fucking spirit taken in the same spot that I recorded that fucking shit. And we all know how the fucking shit works. You leave some haunted place and you go somewhere, and then the haunted spirits or whatever shit, whatever, all that shit follows you and everywhere, shit like that. Clearly. And obviously, as you can see, is everything I'm currently putting out right now through SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube. I'm all over the fucking internet. So, for the sake of finding a focal point for the time being, YouTube. And everything I'm putting on it looks haunted as fuck. Sounds haunted as fuck. Anyhow, I just had to do that little quick closing statement and commentary on that because that's been freaking me out for a while. Point A. Point B, the fucking photo from Barbados album art is a fucking spirit photographed in that same location. Point B. Point A, point B. What's the third point? Well, I guess the third point is, like I was just saying, everything that's out on YouTube looks haunted as fuck. But again, if you guys are dedicated listeners watching and enjoying and listening and all that, thank you. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and it's a good thing that this is happening in basically no transitional period at all. Like it's not even a transitional period for me or a resting thing or relaxing thing. It's like this is just me and you hanging out with me in this bridge that's bridging the gap in between a couple things. And so bridging that gap in between those couple two things here is where it's going to get really great from here on in, especially with the post that I put on Instagram saying something kind of like what I'm saying right now, but that was posted like 3 or 4 days ago. Just another one of those fucking supernatural things and shit like that. Like, it's extremely and entirely, I hate to go back to irrelevant and obsolete, but that's ultimately what it's coming down to. That's ultimately what it's going to be coming down to, for at least until I can somehow manage to make that thought work. Whatever that thought is, I don't even know. I can't even begin to try. But I just have my suspicions of what it is that I think that I'm trying to get myself to do here. And dude, like I said, go critique the album for me. Let me know what you even think it is, because atmospheric blackout metal, and this is the fourth, probably even fifth time fucking mentioning it. Even they said it's not atmospheric and it's not black metal. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty well gonna be almost basically requiring critique or some labeling of some sort at this point. And I wouldn't be the one to say that defeats the purpose, but luckily by the time I get around to it, it won't be defeating the purpose. It'll be, just I'll get around to it by get around to saying, hey, it's probably defeating the purpose. And then, well, it's not quite defeating the purpose, and it definitely isn't, because I already know what I'm going to use that audio for, and that is whatever the fuck it is that I already used it for. I'd have to, do some digging back up of shit that isn't this bridge here, bridging, nothing into nothing, basically, I'm basically bridging nothing into nothing. All I'm trying to say here is that fucking album has a ghost on it for the cover that I photographed myself. It's just all 3 points wrapped up. Point A, point B, point C. Point A, something was going on there with the ending of this episode that I'm wrapping up here with this extra complimentary conclusion. Point B, the album art has a fucking picture of a ghost. Point C, everything I'm making right now has even had somebody on there say that, somebody in the comments tell me that it looks pretty fucked up. So point A, point B, point C done. Babbling about whatever it is that I'm trying to say about bridging nothing into nothing done. What I can say is, wrapping up with this point, to support me, go to hashtag MICK. I'm not going to spell it out for you. It's in the fucking show notes. Go there, support me, and I'll definitely be wrapping that up there, getting into that discussion later. The world is doomed.